Tomorrow, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee has scheduled a vote on issuing subpoenas to Leonard Leo and Republican billionaire Harlan Crow as a part of the committee's investigation of Supreme Court ethics, including Harlan Crow's massive gift package, including hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in so-called forgiven loans, along with private jet and private yacht travel to Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas that should have been revealed publicly by the judge himself. Politico is reporting, quote, conservative judicial activist Leonard Leo's consulting firm received $21 million in 2022 from a group that is a pillar of Leo's aligned nonprofit network. That group, the 85 Fund, is part of an umbrella of nonprofits under investigation by the Washington, D.C. Attorney General for potentially violating tax laws. Carrie Severino, a former law clerk to Justice Clarence Thomas, is a director of the group. Joining us now to untangle it all is Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and author of The Scheme: How the Right Wing Used Dark Money to Capture the Supreme Court. And Senator Whitehouse, I just read that passage from Politico, and I have to say there are aspects of those lines that I just kind of, I think with the audience, fear digging deeper because the comprehension level only gets weaker the deeper we dig. So it is up to you to tell us what we should know about, what is it, the 85 Fund or anything else that mysteriously emerges as these funds emerge in your investigation.
When I talk about this node of Leonard Leo's court capture-related front groups, I actually keep this little diagram handy, and the 85 Fund is right here. It's part of two groups, the 85 Fund and the Concord Fund, that are more or less indistinguishable from each other. Out of them, the transition, the $21 million, went up to these CRC groups that are Leonard Leo's ways of extracting money for himself out of all of this. And these groups are all what are called fictitious names under Virginia law. They're the same as the group. They just are the same group operating under a fictitious name. And you'll remember the Judicial Crisis Network because it paid for all the ads with secret money against Garland for Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Barrett. And you'll note the Judicial Education Project because he files briefs in the Supreme Court without disclosing the rest of the thing. As in the office, we call it the Leo bug. It looks a bit like a head, and then the bug body with the bug leg. So this is just an example of how out of the huge amounts of money that the billionaires give Leonard Leo to operate their scheme, he extracts money for himself to spend on his own well-being, and the rest of it goes out through those groups into the court capture and brief filing and public opinion manipulation operation.
I need the Leo bug on my desk whenever I'm reading these articles from now on.
I'll send you a copy.
Thank you very much. I need it. What can we expect tomorrow in the committee?
Fireworks. The Republicans are overreacting spectacularly. It's a little bit like, you know, the detective comes in and there's a dead body on the floor and everybody is screaming, whatever you do, do not look in the cookie jar. You will ruin us all if you look in the cookie jar. We'll be furious with you and you may not at all costs look in the cookie jar. What's a detective going to do? You're obviously going to look in the cookie jar. They've filed 177 amendments, Lawrence, which gives you an idea of how sincere and serious each one of them is. Just so it's going to be a long process of just processing as quickly as we can these relatively nonsense, bad faith, in my view, amendments. And then we'll hear the usual arguments. We've got no business doing this, despite the fact that Congress passed the disclosure law we're looking into. And it's enforced by the Judicial Conference, which is a body that Congress created. So they seem to persist in this argument that Congress can't do oversight into bodies that Congress created and how they enforce laws Congress passed. I mean, that's a sign of desperation to me. And then they keep saying it's going to destroy the court if we continue this. We're out to destroy the court, but we're not going to do any damage to the court at all unless the information that we find is really damaging. So when they're saying they're going to destroy the court, that's like, this information is really bad. and we don't want to let the public know about it. And that's not a deterrent to people who are trying to take a sincere look into what has gone wrong at the Supreme Court. You can't pretend we don't have business looking into this. You can't pretend that the information we will find is so bad that we shouldn't look for it. And setting up 177 amendments just makes them look preposterous.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, relentlessly trying to get a look in that cookie jar. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Thank you.